Good morning class 11 students. So this is your subject physics, and in this lecture I'll be discussing the test solutions that you gave yesterday of chapter number 3 and 4. So let us begin with the first question of your test. So the first question was, you have to calculate the ratio of distance traveled by a body falling freely from rest in the first and third seconds of its motion. Okay, so as you know, the distance traveled in nth second is given by the formula dn is equals to u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. As it is starting from rest, that means initial speed, that is u, is 0, and acceleration will be equal to acceleration due to gravity. So therefore, to calculate distance traveled in first second, we have to take n to be 1. Putting all these values, u is 0, a is g by 2, 2 into 1 will be 2 minus 1. So d1 will come to be g by 2. Similarly, to calculate d3, that is distance traveled in third second, will be, again you have to just put n equal to 3. To solve it, you will get 5g by 2. So you can easily calculate the ratio, that is d1 by d3 will come to be 1 by 5. Okay. In the second question, it is given an object is projected upward with a velocity of 100 meter per second. After what time will it strike the ground? Okay. So now initial velocity, that is u, is given to be 100 meter per second. As it is going upward, that means acceleration will be minus g, or you can say minus 10 meter per second. Let us say that it goes up to a maximum height of h in time t. Okay, so to calculate this h, first of all, we will be using conservation of energy. So at bottom, as you know, it will be having maximum kinetic energy, that is half mv square. And when it will reach a point h, then it would be having potential energy, that is mgh. Solve it, from here you will get h to be 5000 meters. So now you know distance traveled. So now use the equation v minus u is equals to at. When it will reach the highest point, the final velocity will become 0, that is v is 0 minus u is 100 is equals to acceleration minus 10 into t. From here time will come to be 10 seconds. But remember, this is the time which is required to go up. But in question it is asked to calculate the time in which it will strike the ground. And time of ascent is equals to time of descent. This I have already told you in your lectures. So that means total time to strike the ground will be double of this, that is 20 seconds. In question number 3, you are given a vector f is equals to 4i cap minus 3j cap, and you are asked to calculate a unit vector which is perpendicular to this vector. So it is very easy. You can just answer in one line that because this vector is in I cap and j cap, that is it is in xy plane. So any vector in z axis will be perpendicular to it. So you can say k cap will be perpendicular to f. Okay. In fourth question, it is given that there is a railway carriage which is moving with the acceleration a in forward direction. A passenger drops a stone. Then it is asked what is the acceleration of that stone with respect to carriage. So as you can see, there are two accelerations, a and g, in x and y axis respectively. So the resultant acceleration of the stone will be resultant of these acceleration, that is under root of a square plus g square. Okay, you can just write it as ai cap minus gj cap, because this is in minus y axis. So this is in vector form. When you will calculate magnitude, that will give you under root of a square plus g square. This acceleration is with respect to carriage. Okay, in fifth question, you are given if the speed of a body is doubled and the radius of circular path is doubled, then what will be effect on centripetal acceleration? So as you know, the formula of centripetal acceleration is v square by r. I am taking v dash to be 2v, r dash to be 2r, that is the final velocities and radius. So let us take the new acceleration as a dash, that will be equal to v dash, that is 4v square, v dash square, that is 4v square, upon r dash, that is 2r. Solve it, it will come to be 2v square upon r. Now if you can see here, v square by r is ac, that is your initial a. So a dash will come to be 2a. Okay. In question number 6, it is given a particle experiences constant acceleration for 20 seconds after starting from rest. That is u is equals to 0 for t equal to 20 seconds. Let us suppose it is experiencing a acceleration a. Then the question says it travels a distance s1 in first 10 seconds and it travels a distance s2 in next 10 seconds. So you have to calculate a relation between s1 and s2. So for that we will be using the equation s is equals to ut plus half at square. So first of all, let us use it for s1. So s1 will be ut, u is 0, it will be 0 plus half a, t is 10. So from here you will get s1 is equals to 50a. Now let us calculate for total distance travel, that is s1 plus s2. This is total distance traveled and it is traveled in 20 seconds. So total distance travel is equals to ut, again u is 0 plus half a t square. From here s1 plus s2 will come to be 200a. Okay, so now you know s1, you know s1 plus s2. So you can easily calculate s2, that will be s1 plus s2 minus s1. So s2 will come to be 150a. So now s1 is 50a and s2 is 150a. So you can write s2 as 50 into 3a. Now 50a is s1. So therefore s2 will be 3s1. Okay. In question number 7, it is given if a projectile has a constant initial speed and angle of projection, find the relation between the changes in horizontal range due to the change in acceleration due to gravity. So now you know the formula of horizontal range is u squared sine 2 theta upon g. So as you are asked the change in r with respect to g, so we will just differentiate it. So when you will differentiate it, you will get this. Okay. Now if you clearly look at this, this is g square. So let us write it as g and let us take dg to this side. So it will become this. Now this part is nothing but r. So dr will be equal to minus r dg by g, or you can say dr by r will be equal to minus dg by g. In 8th question, you are given that the magnitude of a plus b is equals to magnitude of a minus b. Then you have to tell property of these vectors. Okay. So now as you know, if I square it, that is magnitude of a plus b whole square will be a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. And similarly, square of magnitude of a minus b will be a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta. Now according to question, these two are equal. That means under root of this is equals to under root of this. Take square on both the sides and cancel out common terms. So you will be left with 2ab cos theta is equals to minus 2ab cos theta. Or you can say, if you take it to the left hand side, 4ab cos theta will be equal to 0. Now 4 is a constant, a and b are not, we are not taking them to be 0. So cos theta will be 0. Or you can say theta will come to be 90 degree. That means a and b are perpendicular to each other. In question number 9, you are given that horizontal range is thrice as compared to maximum height in an angular projectile. So you have to calculate the value of horizontal range. Okay, speed is given to be u. So now we will just be using the formulas. Formula of r is u square sine 2 theta upon g, and formula of maximum height or maximum height attained is u square sine square theta upon 2g. So now from here u square by g will get cancelled out. So and sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cos theta. So that will come to be 3 by 2 sine square theta. So 1 sine theta and 1 sine theta will be cancelled out. So this will be left. From here tangent theta will come to be 4 by 3. Now using trigonometry, if tangent theta is 4 by 3, sine theta will be 4 by 5, or you can say cos theta will be 3 by 5. So now you know the formula of horizontal range, that is u square sine 2 theta upon g. Again sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cos theta. Now you have all the values, put all the values and solve it. You will get 24 by 25 into u square by g. In question number 10, you have to calculate the angular velocity of a minute's hand of a clock. So as you know, the minute's hand of a clock completes one full rotation in 60 minutes, or you can say 3600 seconds, and the angle that it rotates by in that one complete rotation is 2 pi radian. So now as you know, angular velocity is given by theta by t, that is angular displacement upon time. Theta is 2 pi, time is 3600 seconds. So omega will come to be pi by 1800 radian per second square. In question number 11, it is asked, you have to calculate, you have to tell at which point of the projectile motion the velocity is maximum and velocity is minimum. Okay, So as you know, horizontal component of the velocity always remains constant throughout the projectile motion because there is no acceleration in horizontal motion direction, but vertical component goes on decreasing as the particle goes up and it becomes zero at the highest point. So from these two you can conclude that the particle will be having minimum velocity at highest point and it will be having maximum velocity at the projection point, or you can say at that point when it will strike the ground. In question number 12 it is given a ball of mass m is thrown vertically up. Another ball of mass 2m is thrown at an angle theta with the vertical. Both of them stay in air for same period of time. What is the ratio of height attained by the balls? So now let us take for the first ball, that is mass is m. Let's say its speed is u1 and acceleration will be g, or you can say acceleration will be minus d because it is thrown upward. Now use the equation v minus u is equals to at. So v is 0, that is final speed, minus u1 is equals to at. From here t will come to be u1g. So this is the time to go upward. So total time again to strike the ground will be 2u1 by g. So this is the total time for which the mass m is in air. Now from the projectile motion you know the total time for which the object remains in air is 2u2 cos theta by g. This you have calculated in your theory lectures. According to question, t1 and t2 are equal, that is 2u1 by g is equals to 2u2 cos theta by g. From here u1 will come to be u2 cos theta. So now the maximum height attained by the first body of mass m will be u1 square by 2g, and h2 by mass 2m will be u2 square 2 theta upon cos square 2g into cos squared theta. Now you have to calculate their ratio. So h1 by h2 will be u1 square upon u2 square cos square theta. Just now you have calculated u1, that is come to be u2 cos theta. So u1 square will be u2 square cos square theta. So from here this will cancel out. So h1 by h2 will come to be 1. Okay students, so this was your test solution. I hope now each and every question is clear to you. Thank you.